Good morning, everybody. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is April 7th, 2018. I want to share with you a word from the Lord I received the other day. I don't know if it came in the form of a dream or not. I was just waking up. I was on my bed, and I think it was even before I opened my eyes, I received a word of Scripture in my heart. And I believe that it was a word that the Lord gave me, and it was Daniel 10:4. This is Daniel chapter 10, starting in verse 4, and the Lord put into my heart on the 24th day of the first month. And so I opened my Bible, and I came to Daniel chapter 10, verse 4, and I read through verse 6. It says, "Now on the 24th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the great river, that is the Tigris, I lifted my eyes and looked, and behold, a certain man clothed in linen, whose waist was girded with gold of Uphaz. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like torches of fire, his arms and feet like burnished bronze in color, and the sound of his words like the voice of a multitude." Okay, so here in Daniel chapter 10, verse 4, Daniel is given a day when he had a vision of this man, a certain man clothed in linen. And he had a vision of the Son of Man, this glorious vision that Daniel had of Jesus Christ. And this is said to be on the 24th day of the first month. And so I went to the Torah calendar. Remember, we're in Daniel chapter 10, and it says in verse 4, the 24th day of the first month. So right now we are following the Torah calendar. And if we go to the 24th day of Nisan, 24th day of the first month, the day is April 10th. April 10th. That's 4:10 right there. And here in Daniel, 4:10, 10:4. Now on the 24th day of the first month, 24th day of the first month is April 10th. This is amazing. And so what I have shared now following this is I did a study that I put together after I received this word that came in the form of a dream or came in the form of a passage of Scripture that the Lord put into my heart. I put together this study that came together out of this word that I received, and it's amazing. It's amazing. So that's a good 10-4. That's a 10-4, good buddy. That's a 10-4 right there, good buddy. An amazing word from the Lord, and it's showing us an exact day when Daniel saw the Son of Man, this glorious vision. So the study I'm about to share with you is what came out of this word that the Lord gave me. Now, as with all dreams and visions, discern. You need to discern. This could be from the Lord if it's following Scripture, if it's a valid interpretation of Scripture, if there's any biblical contradiction. All dreams need to be tested and tried before the Lord. So if this is a true word from the Lord, then it will not contradict Scripture, and then we would look for its fulfillment accordingly. So I pray everyone's blessed today on the 24th day of the first month. Daniel 10:4, April 10. That's a 10-4, good buddy. God bless everyone. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Good afternoon. This is Steve Fletcher with the Trumpet for My People. Today is April 5th, 2018. And when I woke up this morning, a verse of Scripture came into my heart, into my mind, which is Daniel 10:4. And I'm going to share with you what I have understood from this now, and put together some of the pieces of how we can understand this. Daniel chapter 10, verse 4, shows us a day in which Michael the archangel will stand up. This is Daniel's vision on the 24th day of the first month. As I was standing on the bank of the great river, that is the Tigris, I lifted up my eyes and looked, and behold, a man clothed in linen with a belt of fine gold from Uphaz around his waist. His body was like beryl, his face like the appearance of lightning, his eyes like flaming torches, his arms and legs like the gleam of burnished bronze, and the sound of his words like the sound of a multitude. This is from Daniel 10, 4 through 6, and it leads us to a day. It says, on the 24th day of the first month. And so as we have been watching here, the 17th day of the first month, which is the day of the resurrection, Nisan 17, the 24th day of the first month is a 7-day link. And so what it seems to me that I have received now is that this was our 7-day warning to a day that is written in Scripture when Michael will stand up and the Great Tribulation will begin on the 24th day of the first month. Then we have more connections to this time frame in Daniel 10, verses 12 through 14. It says, then he said to me, do not be afraid, Daniel, for from the first day that you set your heart on understanding this and on humbling yourself before your God, your words were heard, and I have come in response to your words. But the prince of the kingdom of Persia was withstanding me for 21 days. Then behold, Michael, one of the chief princes, came to help me, for I had been left there with the kings of Persia. Now I have come to give you an understanding of what will happen to your people in the latter days, for the vision pertains to the days yet future. And so, leading to the 24th day, there was a 21-day battle. That's one connection to the 24th day. Another connection to the 24th day is a 7-day warning from the time of Noah. 7 days from now I will send rain on the earth for 40 days and 40 nights, and I will wipe from the face of the earth every living creature I have made. So we have a 21-day time frame, and we also have a 7-day time frame. We have seen about the April being the true new year, April 1st being the true new year. And so the 24th day of Nisan is April 10th. April 10th, and the first month and the 10th day coincides with the entrance into the promised land. It says, and the people came up out of the Jordan on the 10th day of the first month and encamped in Gilgal in the east border of Jericho. Joshua 4:19. Now, how does all of this look on the calendar? Okay, here's the whole month of Nisan printed out in on one page here. The whole month of Nisan, and so we have the 24th day of the first month, Nisan 24, and on the Gregorian calendar that is April 10th to 11th. So from day 1 of the month, the beginning of the month on March 18th, the 24th day of the first month, which is Daniel 10:4. We have a 21-day delay, and that links to the spring equinox, March 21st, Daniel 10, verses 12 through 14. Then we have a 7-day Noah warning from Resurrection Day, the 17th day of the first month that we were watching. It's a 7-day warning, as in the days of Noah, from Genesis 7:4. And then from the first day of April, the triumphal entry date from the true new year, and this was also Passover. Passover, March 31st to April 1st, and the 10th day then would be April 10th to April 11th, the 24th day of Nisan. Okay, now we have, connected to all of this, we need to understand the prophecy of the 70 weeks. And in Daniel 9:24, when it talks about the prophecy of the 70 weeks, it shows that everything will finish within the 70 weeks. This has been my understanding from the very beginning, continues to be my understanding, that within the 70 years, we have the end of all of the things we are expecting, including the entirety of the Great Tribulation. It does not say 70 weeks are determined plus 7. It says 70 weeks are determined. 70 weeks are determined for what? To finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to make atonement for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, to anoint the most holy. To anoint the most holy. Okay, and so if we have 70 weeks to do all of this, and the Great Tribulation goes beyond the 70 weeks, then this prophecy would not be true, because it's not all finished within 70 weeks. This prophecy shows that everything will be finished within the 70 weeks. So here we have 70 weeks. Everything will be done within the 70 weeks. To finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to make atonement for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, to anoint the most holy. Okay? So, how can the Great Tribulation go beyond the 70 years? Then that would make this prophecy not true. So what does that look like then within everything that I am sharing? Well, first of all, we see that there is a cutoff on the 70 years, which is May 14th, 2018. 70 years from May 14th, 1948. So we have a cutoff within the 70-week prophecy. That means everything will be coming to an end when the 70 weeks are fulfilled. April 11th, which is the second day, the day in Israel, Nisan 24 is April 10th to 11th. And from April 11th to May 14th, there are 33 days. April 11th to May 14th, there are 33 days. Within the book of Matthew, there are a number of things that we need to understand, and a number of things that the Lord taught us clearly about the coming time of great tribulation. It says in Matthew 24:36, As it was in the days of Noah, so it shall be also at the coming of the Son of Man. The great tribulation, in the time of the wrath that is coming upon the earth, Jesus compared his coming to the time in the days of Noah. In the days of Noah, the flood lasted for 40 days. Matthew 24:21 says, "For then there shall be great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." That is in Matthew 24:21. And so the great tribulation, which will be worse than any other time on the earth, is compared to the days of Noah. In the days of Noah, the flood lasted for 40 days. God's wrath upon the earth was finished in 40 days. That's all that was needed for the wrath of God to be poured out. It was not necessary for a longer period of time for God's judgment to be complete upon the earth. 40 days. And then the Great Tribulation, we are told that the Great Tribulation will be like the days of Noah. And then it goes on in Matthew 24:22, and it says, "Unless those days were shortened, no flesh would be saved. But for the elect's sake, those days will be shortened." So if the Great Tribulation is like the days of Noah, in the days of Noah, the flood lasted for 40 days, and then the Great Tribulation will be shortened. It's like the days of Noah, but it will be shortened, which means it will be less than the days of Noah. And if in the days of Noah, the wrath of God was poured out in 40 days, we have the Great Tribulation shortened from 40 to 33 days. And this is what we have here. April 11th to May 14th, 33 days of Great Tribulation for everything to be fulfilled. Within the 70 weeks of Daniel. The 70 weeks of Daniel to finish the transgression, to make an end of sin, to make atonement for iniquity, to bring in everlasting righteousness, to seal up vision and prophecy, to anoint the most holy. If the Great Tribulation goes beyond May 14th, 2018, will the transgression be finished? If the Great Tribulation continues past this date? No. Will sin be made an end of in 70 weeks if we continue past this date of May 14th? No. Will iniquity be atoned for within 70 weeks if we continue past this date? No. And so what we have here is we have a guide from the book of Daniel that shows us when the prophecy began with the order to restore Jerusalem and when the prophecy will end. 70 weeks are determined. From the order to restore Jerusalem, 70 weeks are determined for the end of all things by May 14th, 2018. The 24th day of the first month, Nisan 24, April 10th to 11th. Daniel 10, verse 4. Now on the 24th day of the first month, as I was by the side of the great river that is the Tigris. The 24th day, the first month, the end of the battle between Michael and Satan. Michael stands up and the great tribulation begins, as it shows in Daniel chapter 12 and in Revelation chapter 12. Daniel 12:1. Now at that time, Michael, the great prince, who stands guard over the sons of your people, will arise, and there will be a time of distress such as never occurred since there was a nation until that time. And at that time, your people, everyone who is found written in the book, will be rescued. Revelation 12:7-9. Now war arose in heaven, Michael and his angels fighting against the dragon, and the dragon and his angels fought back, but he was defeated, and there was no longer any place for them in heaven. And the great dragon was thrown down, that ancient serpent who was called the devil and Satan, the deceiver of the whole world, and his angels were thrown down with him. Here we have the connection to the beginning of the Great Tribulation in Daniel chapter 12, clearly showing that when Michael stands up, the distress will begin. In Revelation chapter 12, it shows that Michael is the one that has the battle with Satan, the dragon, and the dragon was defeated, and the dragon is cast out of heaven. And all this is connected to the 24th day of the first month, which is clearly shown in Daniel chapter 10. And we have right here this link to the exact day written in Daniel chapter 10. The 24th day of the first month, Nisan 24. Now, before I close, I want to share with you the most amazing information of everything else that I have shared with you. This to me is the most amazing confirmation of all. From Resurrection Day, there are 40 days to the day of the Ascension. Jesus is raised from the dead, and he ascends to heaven 40 days after the resurrection. The date in question that we were watching, according to the new moon, according to the Torah calendar, calculating correctly, based on the new moon sighting on March 17th, Nisan 17, the day of resurrection, was April 3rd and 4th. The resurrection day would coincide with April 4th, which would be the morning of Nisan 17. Nisan 17, April 4th, 2018, plus 40 days is May 14th, 2018. What does it say in Acts 1, verses 10 through 11? And while they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, who also said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus who was taken up from you into heaven will so come in like manner as you saw him go into heaven. Let's read that again together. Acts 1, verses 10 through 11. While they looked steadfastly toward heaven as he went up, behold, two men stood by them in white apparel, who also said, Men of Galilee, why do you stand gazing up into heaven? This same Jesus, who was taken up from you into heaven, will so come in like manner as you saw him go into heaven. Jesus was raised on the 40th day, and on Ascension Day, as he was going up into heaven, 2 angels appeared and said, just as he went up, so you will see him return. He will come in like manner. I find it amazing that exactly right now, on the 70th year of the rebirth of Israel, Nisan 17, Resurrection Day, is exactly 40 days from the rebirth date of Israel. May 14th, 2018 is Ascension Day. In this year that marks 70 years from the rebirth of Israel. This to me is an amazing confirmation to everything else that I'm sharing. That the Great Tribulation has been shortened not only to the timing of the flood of Noah, but even less than the days of the flood of Noah, from 40 days to 33 days. And the end of the Great Tribulation is confirmed by May 14th being Ascension Day, 40 days from Nisan 17. This is an amazing revelation that from the Bible verse that the Lord put into my heart earlier this morning, the 24th day of the first month. This is what I see. And I believe that this is the end. Of course, we have said that many, many times, but I will share this with you from my heart, that we have reached the exact day that is written in the book of Daniel, the 24th day of the first month. And this links us exactly by 40 days from Resurrection Day to Ascension Day, that brings us to the end of the 70 years on May 14th, 2018. So I leave this with you. I share this with you in the love of Jesus Christ. This is what the Lord has shown me today, and I pray that everyone is blessed. This is Steve Fletcher with a trumpet for my people.